Hi, I happily welcome you all to the today's English class, and I hope you are all ready for the today's class. In the today's class, I am here with a story to excite you. The story we are going to see today is the chapter 8 in our English textbook, and this story is one of the humorous stories of all time. It was written by one of the greatest authors of all time. The title of the story is Monday Morning Blues. That's the title of the story, and this was written by the author Mark Twain. But actually, Mark Twain is not the author's name. It is the pen name used by the author. The author's actual name is Samuel Langhorne Clemens, shortly called as Samuel Clemens. And this story is an extract from the story The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. We all know about Tom Sawyer, a naughty boy, and we are going to see one of his mischievous acts in this story. Before we get started, let us see the characters given in this story. In the actual story, we have a lot of characters, but in our story, in the English textbook, we have only 4 important characters. The 4 important characters here are Tom Sawyer, the main character of the story, Tom Sawyer. 12-year-old playful boy. He was 12-year-old playful boy. And then Sid Sawyer. Sid Sawyer, younger brother of Tom Sawyer, half brother of Tom. And Aunt Polly. Aunt Polly, Tom's aunt and guardian. Aunt Polly was the sister of Tom's mother. And Tom Sawyer and Sid Sawyer both were in Aunt Polly's house. So, Aunt Polly was the guardian of both. Then Mary. Mary, Aunt Polly's daughter. Mary was the daughter of Aunt Polly. Yes, only 4 characters are given in our textbook. Monday Morning Blues. The word blues actually means sad. Monday morning sad. Tom Sawyer got sad in Monday morning. Why? Actually, all the boys would get sad in the Monday morning. Yes, because it's the time for them to go to school. That's the first day of school. So, most of the children would get sad on that day. In the same way, our main character Tom Sawyer, he got sad and he was thinking how to avoid going to school. Let's see whether his idea works out well or he failed in working out that idea. It was a beautiful Monday morning. Tom Sawyer and Sid Sawyer, they were on the bed. Tom woke up and Monday morning found him sad. Monday morning always found Tom Sawyer sad because it began another week's slow suffering in school. Because he knew it very well. It's the start of the day and he has to go to school. He had no other choice, and in between of them, he had no holidays. School seemed more painful to him. Tom was not ready to go to school, so he lay thinking and thinking. He was checking all his body parts whether he had any pain in any of the body parts, but could discover nothing. He could discover no sickness in any part of the body. But you know what? He didn't stop thinking about it. He was thinking and thinking and focusing on all parts of the body, and suddenly he got a slight pain in the stomach. And that he got the hope. He thought he could get sharper. But unfortunately, it grew weak and soon the pain was gone. It was a bad day for him. And suddenly he discovered something. One of his teeth is loose. He was able to feel the slight pain there. But he was not ready to go up with that idea. Because if he came up with that excuse to Aunt Polly, his aunt would pull it out, pull the tooth out, and that would hurt. If he came up with that excuse, Aunt Polly would pull that tooth out and that would hurt him a lot. So he was not ready to go up with that excuse. So he thought he could hold this toothache in reserve. He was thinking and thinking and thinking, and finally he remembered something. Once a doctor had told about a sickness that made the patient lie in bed for 2 or 3 weeks. To Tom, it was a wonderful idea to cut school for weeks. But you know what? He didn't know anything about that sickness. He did not know the necessary symptoms. Still, it seemed worthwhile because he could get leave for more than 2 to 3 weeks to risk it. So he started groaning loudly. He took his toe and started groaning. He was making such a noise to get the attention of others. Sawyer was the only person sleeping beside him. Tom caught his toe and started groaning louder and louder. He was such an imaginative boy. He has such a great imagination. He was imagining the pain and started groaning louder and louder, but there was no result from Sid. Sid was snoring. Sid was just sleeping and snoring. He gave no attention to Tom. Tom was using all his efforts. Tom, Sid, Sid, Sid. He was calling louder and louder, but he got no result from Sid. So Tom rested for a while and started groaning another time. But this time Tom got really irritated. So he wanted to wake him up. So he started shaking him. Sid, Sid, wake up, wake up. And it worked really well. Sid woke up. He stretched his hands and stood up. And then he began to stare Tom. Tom was groaning here. Sid was watching him groaning. And Sid said, Tom, what Tom? Tom gave no response. So Sid another time said, Tom, what's the matter, Tom? Sid shook Tom and looked at his face. Oh, don't Sid, don't joggle me. Why? What's the matter, Tom? I must call auntie. No, never mind. It will over by and by. Don't call anybody. But I must. Don't groan. It's awful. How long have you been this way? I've been having this pain for hours. Ouch! Don't touch me, Sid. You would kill me. Then why didn't you wake me sooner? Tom, don't. It makes me feel nervous. What's the matter, Tom? I forgive you everything, Sid. Everything you had done to me when I'm gone. Oh, Tom, you aren't dying, are you? Don't do that. I forgive everybody, Sid. Tell everyone that I have forgiven them. And Sid, you give my window shades and cat with one eye to that new girl that has come to the town. Sid actually got afraid. He took his clothes and went down to call auntie. And finally, Tom's act actually worked. Sid believed it and went down to call auntie. What happened next? Whether Tom was admitted to the hospital or Aunt Polly found his mischievous act. Let us see that in the next class. Thank you for watching this video.